All right, I'm here with my favorite old guy, Mark Sisson. Now,
What's up?
now that I've thrown you under the bus,
Yeah.
what I want to talk about things that you've changed with your diet, maybe even over the age of 50, but more so recently,
Yeah.
that really is applicable to you being older and as an ex-athlete, and say, okay, I'm over 50, I'm over 60. Like, what should I be doing different with my diet?
Well, I would say that, for the longest time in my athletic career, I was very carbocentric because the understanding or the assumption was you needed to carbo load pretty much every day to go out and run 20 miles and do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. So over the past several decades, as I've stopped running and I've stopped training that hard, and I've been seeking that minimum effective dose of exercise. Like I don't go to the gym to spend 2 hours exercising. I go to the gym to get the most effective, efficient workout I can in literally the least amount of time. So as I've cut back on my the number of workouts I do in a week, because one of the things I've found as I get older is that I don't recover as quickly. It used to be a day on, a day off, or you'd alternate, back and bi, shoulder and tries, and whatever. You'd have a 3-day split. That doesn't work for me anymore because it takes me 4 days to recover from any full body lifting session until I can do it again. Not until I can do it again, but until I'm recovered enough to benefit from doing it again. Well, what does that mean in terms of diet? Well, it means I don't need as many calories as I used to because I don't expend that many calories. But it does mean that I'm much more protein centric. So most of what I focus my diet on is, am I getting a minimum of 120 grams of protein a day? And in the appropriate doses and time spans that, at least over a period of, say, any measured time of 3 or 4 days, within those 3 or 4 days, I've averaged 120 or averaged 140 grams a day. So it's protein centric. I've actually cut back on the amount of greens that I eat. I would describe myself as, carnivore adjacent. And I do eat some berries. And I was just in Europe and I had pasta a little bit, and I had some couple of slices of pizza. And it was great. But it always comes down to what's the protein focus of the meal I'm about to consume. So that's been the real major, like, strategic move I've done as I've turned 70 and want to maintain as much muscle mass as I can through certainly the next decade, but possibly the next 2 decades.
Do you allocate your protein to a specific time of the day, or is your goal just saying, like, hey, it doesn't matter if I get 1 meal in today, 2 meals in today, like, protein is just sort of my goal? Yeah, I noticed, you kind of net it out over the next,
Yes.
3 days. So maybe it doesn't affect you negatively if you say, what, today I only got 60 grams, but tomorrow I'll get 200. I tend to look at it like that too. It sounds like that's your approach.
Yeah, no. So I look, because the body has an amazing ability to recycle amino acids, to keep what we would call a protein sink or an amino acid pool available for not just repair of muscle, but the construction of enzymes and skin, hair, nail, bones, and all of the other organ repair. So the body has this desire to hold on to amino acids. We tend to in the old days, when we ate a lot of carbohydrate and we did a lot of aerobic work, that tends to be catabolic. So that tends to break down muscle tissue. That's the reason you look at a marathoner, a world-class marathoner, and even though they might lift weights, they weigh 40 pounds less than what they would weigh if they stopped running, ate more protein, and lifted weights. So I look at the available. I want to get an average of 120 for myself grams a day. But I eat more fractally now than ever before. By that, I mean I don't have necessarily set meal times. Sometimes I wake up, I don't eat until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in Europe this summer, and I had breakfast because it felt right. I had, a big thing of scrambled eggs and some bacon many days on the road. I would never eat, well, not never, but I choose basically not to eat breakfast when I'm at home. But then I wouldn't eat lunch that day, or I'd have a big dinner. So I typically eat 2 meals a day. I don't eat 3. And I typically try to eat, a fair amount of protein as the center point of that meal. with the understanding that if I were to go back and look, some days I might get 60 grams, some days I might get 180 grams of protein. But if I go back over the prior 4 days, did I average 120 over that time? Because I've got the confidence that my body is acquiring, sequestering, pooling the amino acids, and not deaminating them and pissing them out the way we sort of assumed that would happen. And by the way, it does happen to some people who are carb-centric and burning mostly carbohydrate and not good at burning fat. The whole ketogenic process is one of protein sparing as well.